Week 1 of class is over, and boy have I learned a lot. Before I took the class, I had some pretty crazy ideas about flowcharts. They were like chutes and ladders and choose your own adventure games in my mind. When I thought about using flowcharts in real life, it was really kind of exciting. It was like there was a manual out there that I'd never received, filled with yes-no questions, direct information on responses and inputs, with solid conclusions on where every choice would lead. Boy, was I wrong. My first surprise was learning that all those shapes have meanings. Once I started to decipher the actual shapes, it all came together. The people that made flowcharts weren't just adding in their favorite images, but they all had a purpose, and that purpose is going to help me, perhaps even more than my imaginary manual would. I no longer have to design websites with notebooks filled with tiny handwriting, loops, stars, arrows, and other images to try and remind me what I've already forgotten. And I can make flowcharts instead to smoothly map where and what will happen on a website. The better I am at creating a flowchart, the better I should be at creating websites. We also covered problem solving, which was delivered in 5 easy steps. Basically, when presented with a problem, we should figure out what the problem is, break down the individual and smaller problems, come up with some possible fixes, and then evaluate them all before choosing a solution and actually making it happen. This is something easily done outside of a computer environment. Here's a quick example. When I moved to Florida, I left behind my Dungeons & Dragons playing friends. This made me very sad, which was a problem. I could always have made new friends, but I'd be leaving behind a character I went along with through 18th level. So the problem was, how can I play with my friends in Arizona? There were some smaller problems: time, 3 time zones to be exact, and money since none of us had any, and of course distance since they couldn't just come over and play with me. But there had to be some solutions, so I brainstormed. First, they could fly or drive to meet me, or me them, or maybe meet halfway. We could always Facebook. Or we could use laptops or phones that have audio and microphones and maybe even a webcam. And of course, snail mail is always an option, or even just sending emails. After coming up with my initial thoughts, I ran through them with a little more scrutiny. Travel's not only expensive, but requires time off work or school, so would probably rarely happen, if ever. Facebook has group messages, but not really a group chat where you can say crazy stuff or come up with plans on the fly. Getting together with Uvu and Skype would work if we all could arrange to do it at the same time. And email and snail mail not only takes a while, but can easily be forgotten and doesn't allow for chit-chat. The solution we decided on was Uvu, so now we set dates and we actually get together to play. It's almost like being there in person, but without people throwing things or spilling soda on your carpet. So this brings me to the hardest part of classes: balance. Sometimes it's hard to figure out how to balance the time I spend with my classes and spending time watching TV or even with my husband. I'm pretty certain if I go through the 5 steps of problem solving, I can find a really great solution. But maybe I'll get started with that after I watch the next episode of Couples Therapy on VH1.